And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Going Deep with Jackson and Goodman. Man, we got a lot to get to today. Broncos in pads today. Courtland Sutton, a new contract. Alex Singleton, a broken thumb. Let's get this thing rolling.
Hello and welcome in.
Please do not leave your luggage unattended on the station.
Welcome to the show.
Well, I know this is a big day for Broncos fans with all the news, Broncos in pads, Courtland Sutton with his new deal, and then Alex Singleton, unfortunately, with the thumb. But I think this might have been a bigger day for you personally because you went to camp today.
I did.
With your 5-year-old son and got a chance to show him around where he used to work. And I'm guessing that had to have been so totally cool.
It was pretty surreal for me because when I lived here, when I played here, I was a single guy.
Right.
I was living a different life than I am now.
I read your book.
Yeah.
And there were plenty of single things that you wouldn't do as a married guy.
No.
Did your wife read that book while she was dating you, before she dated
Probably
you?
right at the beginning. You know?
And she still said yes.
Yeah.
After all of those Vegas stories.
You know what? In a strange way, it made her excited. You know, it made her realize that I had some experience. I mean, no woman wants a man without experience, Eric.
Yeah, but the difference is you didn't have to pay for your wife.
That's
unless
true.
you consider taking her out for dinner.
Aren't we all paying for our wives, Eric? Look, so it was pretty cool because I don't live down there near Dove Valley anymore. Right. I live in a different part of town and in a different house. And so I'm taking my son to my old life. And I drove by my first apartment over there on Bellevue. And I'm like, when I first moved here, boy, that's where I was living. He's like, oh, cool. Not really, right? He doesn't care. But then we keep rolling down, and I drove him past the house that I lived in by myself in the suburbs in Greenwood Village as a member of the Broncos, right down the street from the facility where I would, hop in the car and be at the facility in 5 minutes. But I lived alone in this kind of, not a huge house, but it was like, you're not supposed to live alone by yourself in the suburbs as a 20-something guy.
Right.
And it's just a weird life, right? And eventually I sold that house and moved back to California, met my wife, had my son. We moved back here. But I had never taken him to a Broncos practice. He hasn't been to a game with me yet.
Right.
It's now, I guess, time to introduce him to that world. But what I was struck by is that he didn't really give a shit. He was like, he just wanted to eat the cookie and eat some Gator and drink some Gatorade. Yep. And then the cheerleaders walked up and talked to him, and he was like pretty interested in that. And they asked him how old he was. He said 5.5. And she said, "Who's your favorite Bronco?" And he said, he pointed to me. So, I trained him well, but he doesn't know any Broncos yet. He's not. Right. And I had this really humbling lesson, Eric, and just like, that was my life. That was my hero's journey that I was on.
Right.
He doesn't know anything about it.
Correct.
And so do I indoctrinate him into it? Do I try to teach him about how cool daddy was, or just do I let him figure it out on his own and care about what he's going to care about? But it was really cool to be around there to point out the things that mattered to me. Let it sink in a little bit. Who knows if it does, but it was a pretty special day.
It's fun to share cool things with your family.
Yeah.
And while he may never remember this because he's only 5 years old, this is only step one.
Yeah.
And by the time he gets to school, his friends will have never seen you play, but they will know that his dad played for the Broncos, and that's instant cachet for him. And he's going to be proud of you for what you have done, even though he never saw you. Yeah. My 17-year-old daughter never saw me on television in all of those years. I wish she could have just one time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she can't. So you continue to do what you do, and you hope your children love you, and you hope that they respect what you do, and they think it's kind of cool. And you and I both have cool jobs.
But they still just see you as dad, right? The dude who's cooking my breakfast or wiping my butt or whatever, or telling me to clean up my room. And it's like, they don't see you for your accomplishments. They see you for just the everyday life that you have with them. And that's actually pretty cool because it brings you down to earth. I mean, we can get big heads. Everyone can. But then you go and hang out with your kids and they don't let you have that.
Nate, if you were still playing for the Broncos right now, and let's say in the opener, the Broncos lose by 30.
Yeah.
And you drop 2 passes in the end zone and you're feeling terrible.
Yeah.
Once you walk in the door following the game,
yeah.
Dad, can I have this? Dad, I need this. Dad, I want to play. They don't care what happened
Right.
during your day.
Yeah.
At that age, it's about them.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
It's that way when
And it's
they're
not even
teenagers too.
Well, it's not even just like your big accomplishments. It's just having a crappy day even now. I mean, just
Right.
walking in and they don't care about
Right.
that. He's running to see me. Like
Right.
I could have just got cussed out by this guy on the street and got a rejection letter on this and that, and just everything's going wrong. But then you go and see your children and they light up when they see you, and it puts it all in perspective.
No matter how bad your game was, they love you no matter what.
Yeah.
And they want to see you and they want to spend time with you.
Yeah.
For Courtland Sutton, right now, he is a guy I think a lot of people are going to want to spend time with as long as he is picking up the check.
Yeah.
A new 4-year, $92 million
Is that all?
extension. So this is really 5 more years.
Yeah.
He is getting ready to turn 30 in October. So he's going to be playing going up on his 35th birthday. With that, he's the 18th highest paid wide receiver in the league
Okay.
when you average it out by how much money he's making a year. What I found interesting right when the story broke is that Zach Allen immediately went to social media and put up a fire emoji. And then Will Lutz wrote, "Let's go. The guy works his tail off and handles everything the right way.
Yep.
Well-deserved 14. How important is it to get that type of backing, not coerced to do it, from your teammates? And using an example, I can't imagine your former teammate Jay Cutler would have gotten that type of reaction on social media if he would have signed a new deal.
Nor would he have tweeted out a fire emoji for anyone else getting a contract. Maybe a couple guys. There was a couple guys.
Scheffler, Brandon Marshall.
That's
right, right. Isn't that fun? And that's pretty much about it. But what does it say about the locker room when guys are genuinely happy, where it's not like they're asked a question in a press conference?
Right.
They did this on their own, and that tells me how much they like and respect him.
Yeah. So what he's done on the field, it speaks for itself. He's been the most reliable receiver, the biggest playmaker on this team. He's been remarkably healthy since his ACL about 5 years ago. I guess the last 4 seasons, he hasn't really missed a game, maybe 1 or 2. But he's been Bo Nix's security blanket. And through all these changing quarterbacks, he's been able to produce, which is not easy. But I think what endears his teammates to him a lot more than that is what you're talking about, the locker room presence. This guy went through the doldrums here. This was some dark years over the last 5 or 6 years when Courtland Sutton got here, to the point where guys like Courtland Sutton, Justin Simmons, Garrett Bowles, people were questioning, are they losers? Because the team keeps losing with these guys here. Yes, they're the best players on the team, but can we win with them? Well, Courtland Sutton saw that through and kind of took it all on his back, came to work every day, obviously has the right attitude, goes to work the right way. And for a young player to come in and watch a guy like him go to work, it really sets a great example. You do things the right way, you get rewarded by the team that drafted you and the team that values you. And I think it's a great sign to send to the rest of the locker room. Also, the fact that the guys respect him. Every guy says that about Courtland, about how he does things well on and off the field. It's got a lot like Rod Smith when I played with Rod, consummate professional on and off the field. And the older he got, the more wisdom he dispensed to the young guys. The locker room is a brotherhood, and you need guys to pull the youngins along and show them how to do it. And Courtland Sutton is that guy. And it's a young receiver room, too. They need that guidance, and he's going to be around for a while to give it to him.
I say this with all due respect to the late Demaryius Thomas, but I'll share a conversation I had with him. When you look at Demaryius Thomas's numbers before Peyton Manning got there, they weren't particularly great.
Yeah.
And as Demaryius was wrapping up his career, he said to me, and this is a quote, and people would argue with me and say, there's no way he would say this. I'm not paraphrasing. This is a quote. He said, my career would be nothing without Peyton Manning. And if you look at his numbers outside of 2016, it's not that he was nothing. He just didn't have the quarterbacks to throw him the ball.
Yeah.
With that, Courtland Sutton, all due respect to Trevor Siemian and Joe Flacco and Case Keenum, he never really had guys to throw him the ball. Last year he did. When you look at Sutton's numbers, some of the best numbers in certain categories of his career, how much do you think this signing of Sutton has to do with how well he and Nix work together? And if Nix wasn't the quarterback and they were still looking for the quarterback, would this deal have made sense?
Yeah, probably not. Bo likes throwing to Courtland.
Yes.
Right? And he trusts him. Everywhere else he looks, he sees young players who don't necessarily have the experience in the league, who may not understand coverages as well, who don't have the catch radius that he does. I would argue that, Devon Vele could develop into a guy with that kind of catch radius because he's very long and he's got good awareness of zones and things like that. But Courtland is someone who Bo looks to in times of duress. And you need that. You want that for your young quarterback. You find a guy that he likes, you keep him around. I will say that I think it's going to be hard for Courtland to improve on those numbers because of the other guys he brought in.
Correct.
Evan Ingram, he's going to get some balls thrown his way. This Pat Bryant guy, if he can get on the field, he'll get some balls thrown his way. Troy Franklin, is he going to have a bigger role? Devon Vele, Marvin Mims. I know, lost in this conversation about all these other receivers, Marvin Mims is sitting there like, what about me, guys? What about me? He doesn't talk like that. I don't think he's from where you're from. Are you? No, you're from Chicago. Hey, Chicago. They do that, right?
Tell me when you're done.
But what I'm saying is, this is a pretty, even though these.
By the way, if you're going to talk like you're from the south side of Chicago, you got to go to Connie's Pizza, go get yourself a deep dish, hang out on Pulaski and Cicero, and watch all the planes flying over on Midway.
Okay,
that's how you talk. You're from Chicago, like the Bears, the Bulls.
Do the people on the news talk like that in Chicago?
No, they don't. Well, it's funny. You should say that because Midwestern accents have the least amount of accents, and generally speaking, when you see national newscasters, a lot of them are from the Midwest. Like Johnny Carson was from the Midwest. If you have a sharper accent,
right,
the hometown team, the hometown city doesn't feel like you're a part of their city.
Right.
So you want it to be a neutral accent.
And you are a neutral accent kind of a guy.
I don't know if I am
you're
or
a pro.
not.
Just like Marvin Mims, just like the rest of those receivers, and just like Evan Ingram, because he wants the ball. And by the way, you got Caleb Lohner. Are we trying to get that guy the ball? Adam Troutman, he wants it too. And now you got R.J. Harvey. Now you got J.K. Dobbins. And by the way, Jaleel McLaughlin also wants the ball. So
is this going to stunt their growth with a 4-year? Why not?
I don't think it's going to.
Well, that's less balls going their way.
I don't think that's.
And Pat Bryant.
No, I don't think it's going to change the way they formulate the offense or plan. It's not like, oh, we gave him a bunch of money, now we got to change the way we're doing things. No, they have the money. There's $279.2 million to spend on the cap this year. Went up another $30 million this year. Went up $25 million the previous year. Bo Nix is on a rookie deal.
Yeah,
they have the money to pay a receiver. They're not paying any other receivers in that room. So let's pay the guy whose presence we value, just like we talked about, whose production we value,
right,
and who has been a part of getting this ship moving in the right direction. I think it's a smart thing to pay a guy like Courtland Sutton, and it's great to have him around. And he looks like he'll probably be here till his, not a lot of receivers play past the age of 35. If he can play past the age of 35, props to him. But if he plays for the next 5 years here, everyone wins.
As we are doing this show live, we don't know how this contract is set up.
Yeah.
With the 4-year contract extension, it could be he's really only getting paid guaranteed money for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I'm not suggesting that they're going to do this, and I'm not suggesting they should. They could cut him year 4, year 5 of this extension. But at the end of the day, he's going to get paid now because we don't have all the particulars there. With that, the one thing about Sutton that was the most impressive last year is what he did on third down. It wasn't the cumulative yards, it wasn't the catches, and it wasn't the touchdowns. I believe he caught 30 passes on third down last year. 27 of them went for first downs.
What the hell was he doing on the other 3, Eric? That's what I want to know.
Taking time off.
Pretty good.
Relaxing.
Pretty good. And that shows you that, hey, Bo's looking at him on third down.
That's his guy.
Right. And that's what makes you a true number one receiver, is being able to pick up a first down on 3rd and 6 when the coverage is tight. They know the play you're running. They're sitting in the pocket or sitting in the zone where you're going to go, and you still find a way to use your body and make those catches. That's what a guy like him can do with a big body. You've been down next to Courtland Sutton. He is a freakish athlete. I mean, he has muscles coming out of his legs and his arms. It's like, I didn't know human beings had those
like
muscles.
You did before you let yourself go after you retired.
That's true. I appreciate you mentioning that. You didn't have to do that, but it was
everybody can see it. But get a close-up of Nate here. I mean, I would hardly call that muscle definition.
I mean, I don't know, man. I wouldn't want to start going down that road.
Why do you think I wear a coat? I don't want to embarrass you.
I will say though, when I played with the Niners, I was on the team with Terrell Owens for a little while, and Terrell Owens had muscles popping out of places.
Yes, he did.
Oh my gosh, he was a freak, and he did some things on the field that were super freakish. And if I'm gonna, if we want Courtland Sutton to improve, do we want him to improve? Do we think he can get better? I think he can get better. What I think he can do better at is yards after the catch. I want to see.
That's not his game.
I want to see
It's
him,
not his game,
but
though.
he's so big and strong.
I understand.
Like you, Eric, he's so big and strong that all he has to do is remember that he's so much bigger and stronger than the DBs who are trying to cover him. Grab that ball with one arm, and the other one, this is a weapon. Use it. Bang, bang, bang. Don't go down. Score a touchdown. I want to see him break like 5 tackles and score an 80-yard touchdown. But Courtland Sutton, deserves the money he got. I think that he can step his yak game up.
A lot of people disagree with me because people love Demaryius Thomas, and rightfully so. And the guy that I'm about to mention you played with, this guy was going through a lot of personal problems when you played with him, and that's Brandon Marshall.
Yeah.
Who is a better wide receiver? I'd rather have Brandon Marshall because he was that guy you just described.
Oh, yeah.
He had that, I am going to not only plow you over, but as I'm not going to go by you, I'm going to step on your chest as I'm running towards the end zone.
Yeah.
That's not Courtland Sutton's game.
But
Courtland Sutton is a high point guy.
But it is the high point guy he is, absolutely. And he does that better than anybody. He makes some crazy circus catches, but he can add that other element to his game, I believe, because Jake Plummer tells the story about Brandon Marshall. Brandon was a rookie, and he comes off, he gets, it was in a preseason game or something like that. He catches a hitch, he gets tackled, and he comes to the sideline, and Jake's like, dude, do you realize who you are compared to that guy? He should never tackle you. You should punish these guys. And a light went on in Brandon's eyes, and he turned into that guy.
Right.
And I know it's that, but he was a rookie at that time. Courtland is not a rookie now. But I think that there is a world in which Courtland can become a little more violent after the catch and, slow it down a little bit and start.
Hold on, though. You think he's going to start taking on the mentality at 30?
Yeah. But I always like as a receiver, I love stiff arming guys because they don't tackle, you keep them away. It's a weapon.
Well, he's going to get more opportunities as Nick grows, as well as the other wide receivers and running backs are going to get those.
Can I give you a quick a fact? Do you know the only Broncos receiver to have 3 straight 100 reception seasons? Do you know who that is?
Brandon Marshall.
It's B. Marsh.
Yep.
Nobody's ever. Demaryius Thomas had 2. Rod had 2.
Demaryius was a different type of wide receiver. He had great athletic skill.
Yeah.
Where he could catch the ball. He got
He's so
criticized.
strong too.
Correct. But Brandon is more like DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
Just, you don't want to get Tebow Samuel. You just don't want to get in his way.
No.
You're not afraid to get in. All due respect to Courtland, you're not afraid to get in his way.
Yeah.
With those guys, you are. With that, I think one of the biggest questions going into this season was depth at inside linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
And just like that, this team has been hit hard. Drew Sanders has a history of injuries. We will see what happens with him. Foot injury, I believe it's tendon or ligament damage. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
It's a ligament, not a tendon.
Well done.
Sean Payton let us know that. Okay. One is worse than the other, but it was a ligament.
He did say that, actually.
Yeah, no.
Just like that.
Yeah.
So you have Drew Sanders.
Yeah.
And then you have Alex Singleton coming off a serious injury.
Right.
And then, of course, you have Dre Greenlaw coming off a serious injury. And they're working Greenlaw back in as slowly as they can.
Yeah.
Although, my goodness, I don't know if you saw this. He laid a hit on Barton in walkthroughs.
Oh, did he?
Today. Walkthroughs. And people are like, damn, right. You're like, damn. And I'm sure Barton wasn't really that thrilled about it. So now you have
Now he knows, though.
Yes, he does.
Stay away from Dre and walkthroughs.
Now you have Singleton with a busted thumb.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 7-8 day injury. He's going to have surgery, and then they're going to put a club on him.
Yeah.
How difficult, and we'll get to Sanders in a second. Clearly, you could never play your position, tight end, wide receiver.
Put a club on it, so they can't steal it? What is it? How's the club, the car, the wheel, you put a club on it so you can't steal it?
Nate, let me tell the jokes.
Okay.
Could we just moving forward? Okay. I don't want hashtag dad jokes anymore.
I got lots of them, man.
I know you do.
Come on, man.
Because you have young kids.
Yeah.
Because your kids find them amusing. I can promise you.
I find them amusing.
No.
I'm not telling. My son's 5. He doesn't get that stuff yet. My daughter's 1. She's not even 1. She doesn't get those jokes yet.
Does your son laugh at the things that you say?
Yeah, but I don't tell those kinds of jokes. I don't tell puns and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
How difficult is it going to be to play for Singleton with that cast on? It's a 4 to 6 week injury, generally speaking.
I'll tell you, for a guy like Alex Singleton, number one, it's kind of messed up to hear it this way. But whenever I was playing football, I could deal with any kind of injury that was above the waist as long as I can run. I need to be able to run at my top speed to be able to handle these freaks out there. I need to be able to cut and react and not be favoring something lower body. If it's something upper body, I'll deal with it. I'll grit my teeth and bear it, And so for Alex Singleton, who's coming off an ACL, which is, man, what, 10 months ago?
Yeah.
And he's already back out there practicing full speed. So in a way, he's going to get a little more rest for the knee, back that down a little bit. His thumb's going to be fine. But it just goes to show you how fickle this thing is. And
so how much does it affect you tackling, though? Or will it not?
I would say a guy like Alex Singleton, who is like a whirling dervish, who sees and attacks, and he's just a tackling machine. He's not doing a lot of arm tackling. He is on top of guys. And he's like form tackle, brings his hips, takes him to the ground. Like he's like, if you're going to teach training tape tackling, Alex Singleton is the guy. He's a tackling machine. He's always in the right place. So I think his nose for the football and his ability to sniff things out and put himself in the right position, the thumb's not going to be the compromise that ability much. But there are moments when a guy gets away from you, you got to reach and grab a jersey.
Right.
And that thumb, you don't realize how much you need your thumb until you don't have it. You know what I mean? And so yeah, they'll wrap it up, whether they're doing surgery, put a pin in it or something like that. But I don't think this is going to be a long-term issue. It just shows you how quick things can change.
Alex Singleton, I don't think, has this type of personality. Dre Greenlaw might. And what I'm about to say about Dre is not a dig on him.
Okay.
Here. Sean Payton compared Dre Greenlaw today to Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
On the field.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use his words instead of using my words. I don't think you would do this. I don't think Singleton would do this. But if you have a Mike Tyson mentality, you're going to do anything you can to rip off somebody's helmet, bite the ear, and eat the children. So do you think a guy who is just all Mike Tyson-ish on the field, would they ever use that cast, that club? I know the code is you protect the other guys out there, you don't go for somebody's knee. You think that he would?
The code is what? Protect the guys, your opponents? No. The code is to fuck them up. The code is to hit them as hard as you can and make them hurt.
But this is different than the 1960s and 70s. You're not looking to end somebody's career.
No.
Okay. In the 60s and 70s, they were. The Bears defense of 85, they were looking to end quarterbacks' careers.
If you talk to like defensive ends and defense, but they are looking to end your game. They want to get you out of the game.
Okay, fine.
They don't want to go at your knee.
Fine. Do you think that there are players out there that would use that cast or that club as a weapon?
Yeah. The helmet is a weapon. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
No, it's not any different. It's actually the more dangerous weapon, the helmet.
No, I agree.
Because it's the tip of the spear, and a guy like Dre Greenlaw, who's moving so fast,
turns
himself into a missile and hits you with. It's harder to use that.
Right.
You're doing that, and you're going to break your own hand doing it.
Right.
You got to be careful with that. Maybe a strategic pop, everyone. A little nut shot, cup check, whoop, things like that. But but Dre Greenlaw, his ability, his explosiveness is going to be an asset to this team. And Orlando Franklin, who I used to do radio with, did an internship with the Niners, and they had a similar nickname for him there. I think Sean Payton was piggybacking off of he kind of knew they already called him Mike Tyson somewhere else.
Right.
Because he was up and was asked about that. He said, yeah, I've heard that before.
Right.
So like he has left that impression with people before.
Correct.
That's a really good thing. But what we need is for him to be healthy.
Greenlaw and Fred Warner. Fred Warner is one of the best inside linebackers out there.
Yeah.
Tackling machine.
Yeah.
Alex Singleton, tackling machine.
Yeah.
Alex Singleton is not Fred Warner. I'm not trying to suggest that. But when you look at that pairing,
right,
is that a perfect situation for a Greenlaw when he knows Warner, Singleton will stay at home, make the tackles, and Greenlaw can freelance and wreak havoc everywhere? Is that the right combination?
Yeah, absolutely. And it is a lot like that 49er combination. Alex Singleton will be the green dot. So he'll be getting the play in.
Correct.
And he'll be strong side or fronting everything up. And then Greenlaw will be kind of running sideline to sideline and cleaning things up. I mean, you're going to see him flash and smack dudes. And Alex Singleton probably will have more tackles, during the course of a game because he'll always be in that right position. But Greenlaw will be the one cleaning up and going for the knockout shot like Mike Tyson did, right? And it's a good thing that everyone's wearing helmets so that they don't get their ears bitten.
So at practice today, full set of pads. RJ Harvey making really nice cuts. Garrett Bowles talked about it. They're going to go for more of a stretch zone this year.
Yeah.
And you saw that in practice today, one particular play with Harvey where everyone's flying this way and he cuts and made a beautiful move.
Yeah.
With the running backs they have with Dobbins and also with Harvey, who are really good one-cut guys, or at least we know Dobbins is, how much is this going to expand this offense?
Yeah. Well, the wide zone stuff is really, what it's the Shanahan offense. It's what Kyle does. It's what Mike did. It's what a lot of guys
I don't mean to argue with you here, but I say this I cut them off all the time when they say this. That was not Mike Shanahan's offense. That was Alex Gibbs' offense. Let's give credit where credit is due. Was that whose offense was it?
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the guy
I know
who articulated it and put it into a big picture.
Okay.
What Mike did was he married the passing game, the West Coast system, with
the
zone blocking scheme, and turned that into the revolution.
Gotcha.
Alex Gibb was about blocking schemes.
Yeah.
Mike Shanahan called the plays, right, and set up those plays. So and set up with the play action and the keeper game, which was based on it. So what I'm saying is it all feeds off of one another, and the wide zone allows you to get the defense moving laterally off the ball. Right. So like they can't attack upfield when every offensive lineman first step is going sideways. They got to go with him, right? And so if it is a running play and everyone's going to the side because that's your blocking scheme, then the running back has to read it and react. And the cut is going to be wherever the hole opens up. Whereas a gap scheme, power running game, the hole's right there in the 1 hole or the 3 hole or the 4 hole.
Right.
But this wide zone stuff, it's moving. It's fluid. You got to play jazz, baby. If the hole opens up, you got to cut on it, or you got to drag it out, bang, and be able to hit it. And that's what R.J. Harvey did.
Yes.
And when J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, these guys are able to do that.
Estime had a nice cutback as well.
Did he?
He did. And I hadn't really seen that before.
And once you hit some of those, then you run the play action off of those. And that's when you used to see Shannon Sharp running free and tight ends running free on keepers and guys just wide open in the keeper game. And with a quarterback like Bo, who can get out of the pocket and run and throw on the run, this really helps an offensive coordinator open up his playbook.
How old are you? 40-something?
40-something.
Okay. I'm going to allow you to be get off my lawn guy, man who yells at clouds. With the CBA the way it is, guys rarely practice in pads. Yeah. So today it's a big deal. Oh my God, they're practicing in pads.
Yeah.
That's not the way it was when you played.
No.
You were in pads a lot more. I understand for the health of the players, it's better if they're not in pads all the time. But is it better for the game?
Yeah, I don't even know if it's better for the players necessarily because, there's an argument to be made that it develops a callus, an ability to withstand it on game day if you do it more in practice, right? Nobody got into football because they thought they were going to get their body protected, like they were going to get saved, and it was a healthy environment for them. Guys get into football because they want the violence, they want the aggression, they want to hit, they want to beat people up. That's what football players know about the sport of football, and the longer you go, the better you get at that. The more comfortable you get with pain, the more comfortable you get with inflicting it, and the less of a conscience you have when you smash someone in the dirt. So when we talk about health and safety and like protecting these guys, to me, it's like a little bit, okay, these guys know what they're doing. Protect them after they get hurt. Take care of them after they get hurt.
Right.
Don't rush them back on the field if they're not healthy yet. And then when their careers are over, take care of their injuries for the rest of their lives, Eric.
Right.
Give them lifetime health care, but allow these guys to pin back their ears and kick the shit out of each other on the field because that's what they want to do. And if you don't do it at practice, you're not going to be ready to do it in the games. And the teams who do it more in practice are going to be better at it in the games. And Sean Payton knows that. I mean, he comes from the Bill Parcells tree of let's get after each other a little bit. But it is a new era. You mentioned the CBA. Yeah. There are restrictions to that. So you got to ride the fence a little bit and, not break any rules, but still get your guys ready to play. It's not an easy – I don't envy these coaches who have to set these schedules.
Bo Nix held his first media session of training camp on Saturday. Said a lot of different things. He certainly addressed being ranked number 64, NFL's top 100. This is what he said. He said, it really doesn't matter where you're ranked. It's just an internal standard that I have, that I want to be the best in the world. A lot of quarterbacks will say, I want to be the best in the game. I want to be the best in the world. I want to be a Hall of Famer. Does it sound a little different, though, coming out of his mouth than out of the mouths of other guys that you probably know are not going to be that great?
Does it sound different?
Because to me, it does.
Why, how does it sound different to you?
Like you and I are doing a show right now, and while we're certainly having a conversation, there's a little part of both of us that is on a little bit. We would still have a conversation, but it wouldn't be as energetic if we're sitting on a bar stool. When you are talking to somebody, it's the same way. When you are standing in front of a microphone, you tend to be a little bit more amped up. You're a little bit more up for it, as opposed to just a conversation. When Bo Nix talks, it's very matter of fact.
Yeah.
There's nothing about him that I don't want to say seems staged. It's just, yeah, this is how I feel. Just very, very matter of factly. So when he says, I want to be the best in the world, understanding his work ethic from what I've read and people I've talked to and how he's improving exponentially, exponentially. Well done. I mean, Brandon Jones said about him, he goes, I watched this guy improve week to week. Yeah. And his teammates, all players will say the right thing about the quarterback publicly, but there are different ways that you say it. Our friend Andrew Mason from The Fan did an interview with Adam Troutman, and Troutman was talking about Nix, and he said, he's a genius, and then he caught himself. He caught himself. Yeah. And said he's really, really smart. Whatever he said. That's real. Yeah. That's how he really does feel about him. But he knew he shouldn't throw the word genius out there. Okay. My point about Nix is that I believe what he says. But I also, when I listen to a guy I liked very much in Brock Osweiler, when he said things, he's kind of going through the motions, saying the right things. Yeah. Russell Wilson was a classic example of that. That's right. Right. Bo Nix just seems completely authentic. Yeah. It's permeated that way through the locker room, and understanding who he is, the little you learn bit by bit. I have no problem saying this right now. He will consistently be a top 10 quarterback in this league. Wow. He will be one of the best quarterbacks in this league. Yeah. Now, the
fingers crossed, right? I mean, a lot has to go right for him. It's not just
injuries. If he's not injured,
not just injuries.
Now, I understand what happened with CJ Stroud in the second year, but there were injuries around him. Yes, things have to go right.
He still went to the playoffs last year. CJ Stroud, I mean, not at all a failure last year.
I understand injuries play a major role. This guy is going to be improving by big steps. If you look at a ladder, he's taken 2 steps at a time. Oh, the last time I felt this strong, I'm not comparing. Remember Les Shapiro? Yeah. Yeah. I did a show with Les after Patrick Mahomes' first game. Yeah. First game. And it was the season finale in Denver. He was like 22 at 35 and had a touchdown, 2 touchdowns and interception, but he made like 6 special plays. Yeah. And we go on the air in afternoon drive on Mile High Sports Radio at the time. And I looked at Les, who's been around this market for a long time, covered Elway. And I said, Patrick Mahomes, with a straight face, said, Patrick Mahomes will be better than John Elway after 1 game. He goes, you're nuts. He goes, you're nuts. And I'm not suggesting Bo Nix is going to be Patrick Mahomes, but I've not felt this strongly about a quarterback since Mahomes that I do about Nix. It's just a feeling that you get, a spidey sense, what people say about him, listening to him talk. This guy is we can say this, he's the fucking real deal.
Whoa.
He is. Yeah. He is the real deal because of what he has from the neck up. Yeah. And his processor is fast. Yeah. And what they said about him early was he doesn't make the same mistake twice. Yeah. And now he's getting the ball out faster. And you can tell he's more comfortable. And he's not even into year 2. There are going to be some growing pains. I'm not suggesting his second season is going to look like Mahomes' second season. And to me, it's not about numbers. It's about winning and his teammates believing in him. And you know as well as anyone, playing sports at the highest level, you know who has the it factor and who doesn't. And Bo Nix has the it factor.
Boom. I like that.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that to get clicks.
No,
I'm not saying that maybe because I'm trying to stir something up and have a hot take. I believe that. I've been around it so much that sometimes you just get a feeling. But I'll tell you this: if I'm wrong, I'm going to question everything
that you know.
I'm serious. I will.
So, do you still think Patrick Mahomes is better than John Elway?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's not close.
Not close?
No, it's not close.
Patrick Mahomes didn't expose himself a little bit last year in the Super Bowl, getting worked. Patrick Mahomes.
I shouldn't say not close. That's not fair. There's Brady, Mahomes, maybe Manning, everybody else.
Are you out of your mind? Joe Montana is ahead of.
Love Joe Montana.
Yeah. He went
Joe Montana.
4 for 4 in Super Bowls.
Gotcha.
11 touchdowns to 0 interceptions. No, hold on.
This
Eric.
is a conversation for off the air.
We already had this conversation once.
Right.
What is it about Patrick Mahomes that makes your little mustache tickle, man?
What does? What he does is Joe Montana made special plays.
Is a different player. I mean,
that's right. They are different players.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, there is something about that guy. With Joe Montana, you look at this is a Denver show, and we're talking about a Chiefs quarterback and a 49. Actually, we're talking about two Chiefs quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I covered Montana with the Chiefs.
Joe Montana was the best Chiefs quarterback that's ever played.
Len Dawson.
No, but Mahomes took over a playoff team with Alex Smith, a roster that was ready to win. Andy Reid had been there for 5
How
or
many
6
times
years.
have they been to a Super Bowl?
I don't know.
0.
Don't care.
No, you don't have to care.
They were a good team,
the answer is 0.
and he made him a better team. I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. He's a top 5, maybe top 10 quarterback of all time. But I think we've crowned Patrick Mahomes a little too quick. Is all I'm saying here.
No.
Okay, he's not even 30 yet, is he? Let's pump the brakes.
If he
on Patrick
retires
Mahomes.
right now, is he a first ballot Hall of Famer?
First ballot? Yeah, because he's won 2 and went to 3, or is that
2?
Or is he won 3?
He's won 3, and almost every year except outside of one, he goes to the conference championship.
Yeah, but it's
game.
all over now. The Chiefs are done. Okay, but I do want to mention one thing about Bo, because I agree with you there. I was kind of kicking rocks on the Patrick Mahomes thing a little bit, but Bo, you talk about the neck up, and I think that's really important to discuss that, because last year, he wants to be one of the guys, and that's what I love about Bo Nix is he wants to be considered in that locker room a football player. He doesn't want to be looked at as the quarterback's over here. Correct. And the rest of the team is over there. That's why he played with 3 bones broken in his back. That's why he had a surgery in the offseason we didn't know about. This guy wants to be a football player, and he's going to lay it on the line to prove it to his teammates. A guy like that with also all the skills that you mentioned, there's good things going to come to him, but there are a lot of things that have to go right along the way as well. So my thing is, it's only a second year. Let's pump it like we're doing to Patrick. Let's pump the brakes on Bo.
Yeah.
Let's let him grow with his team, but he has the skill set and the mentality to be one of the greats of all time.
I am bloviating about how great I think this guy will be. Am I the problem? And are other people? No, I'm serious. Am I the problem? Are there other media members that are the problem that are setting the expectations too high for him?
Well, I mean, yes, but I understand it, because we've been in the desert for a decade since Peyton Manning left the building, right? Where is our quarterback? And then Russell Wilson came in, and Russell was like, I'm going to do it. And he showed up with a monster truck and a photographer, and he was wearing his own throwback jersey, and he had rolled out a red carpet, and he had his Bo's not going to do any of that. He's the anti-Russell Wilson, and it was a breath of fresh air. So not just on the field, but his personality and the way he's working with Sean Payton and all that. I think everyone is understandably excited and should be, but we are so excited about anointing the next great quarterback. We got to pump the brakes and let this guy. For example, if they go 6-11 this year, what happens? What do we say? If he goes, is now Bo Nix a problem? We got to start looking at quarterbacks. Absolutely not. We have to support this guy and look at it from a big picture standpoint. And this is a team sport that relies on all the moving parts coming together to form the whole. Bo Nix has the skill set. We need to step back and let him go to work.
I am not a fan. I think I look at it from a different perspective. I'm not a Broncos fan. I'm not an Avs fan. I'm not a fan of any of the teams, but I want them to win. It makes my job easier, and I love a great story. I think I see it from a very unbiased point of view. I see from the point of view of covering thousands of athletes like you, and you get a feeling about somebody.
And you had a similar feeling when you covered me. And
I did. I'll tell everybody what it is. Right. I said you early on in your career, stand in your locker room, in the next to your locker. I said, I think you're going to be amazing in media. I had no problem saying that.
Yeah, that's what you want to hear when you're in the middle of your athletic career.
Well,
you're going to be good on camera someday, buddy.
Look at you now. You're stuck with me.
Yeah. Well,
sucks to be you. One more quick thing about Bo. Something else that he said, but I want to take a step back. When you played, give me a word or two that motivated you to be as good of an NFL player as you could be. Was it drive? Was it desire? Was it work ethic? Give me a word, just one word that describes your approach to your job as an NFL player or anything else.
For me, it was adaptability.
Okay.
You got to be able to adapt to whatever's thrown your way, whether it's somebody switching coverage on you at the last minute or a coach asking you to do something or play special teams or do this thing that you're not used to. But there's a million. I mean, it's hard to ask for one.
So let me read you what Bo said.
Yeah.
What he said was, I think it's more of the fear of not being ready, not being big enough for the team. That's what continues to drive me. And that's what's not going to give me an off year.
Yeah.
A lot of times as a rookie, you don't want to look like an idiot. Now you can go out there and look a lot better.
Yeah, fear. So his is fear.
Okay.
Of not wanting to let down his teammates.
See, the reason why this really sings to me is my entire broadcasting career has been based on fear at a deep, visceral level. And this is the reason why. Yours was adaptability. Mine was fear, because every time I sit in front of this camera, or every time I went on the radio, or every time, like you, I stand up in front of 500-600 people raising money for nonprofits, I am so terrified of screwing up and thoroughly embarrassing myself. I am fearful that's going to happen. And that's what drives me to prep for something.
So you and Bo Nix, like two peas in a pod.
Well, that's why I can relate to his comment.
Yeah.
For you, it was adaptability. Do you understand fear as a motivation?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I say adaptability is what allowed me to stick around. But the competitiveness, really, the unwillingness to lose, the desire to win at all costs, the toughness, because you're going to have bad days. You're going to get your ass kicked from time to time.
Right.
You're going to make mistakes. You're going to throw an interception. And I don't know if you remember last year when Bo had he had a tough start.
Yep.
And he was standing up there at the podium saying, guys, football isn't everything. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Football isn't everything. I'm going to be okay. There's more to life than this sport. He actually said that after a game.
And
okay?
that would be
concerning. And everyone was like, oh my God,
right.
He doesn't care about this game enough, right? So it's going to go both ways with Bo. He's very competitive and cares a lot about this game, but he also has some perspective on it. And so that perspective is really good to have in the locker room. It might not be great for the diehard fans after two or three, losses in a row where they're like, this guy, why is he talking about? No, for the guys in that locker room, they need a guy who has his head on his shoulders. And I think Bo does, in a way that's worldly. He's a married man. He's a religious man. He has faith that supersedes this sport.
Right.
And so he has perspective on it. I think is going to really be valuable for everybody in that organization.
Let's end with this. I'm not trying to make comparisons. You played with Rod Smith.
Yeah.
Guessing he had the it factor. Champ Bailey, it factor. John Lynch, it factor, so on and so forth. For you, does Bo Nix have the it factor yet? Or are you going to hold back? Unlike me, are you going to hold back and say, I still want to wait and see?
He absolutely has the it factor.
Really? Well, that's a big compliment coming from you.
Well,
and I mean that sincerely.
I know, like, I've been studying quarterbacks my whole life.
Right.
What I'm saying, what I get worried about is putting too much on one guy.
But who's doing it? It's just fans. It's not like he listens to
the
fans.
Sean Payton's like, hey, your little internet shows, and you're like, he's watching. Like, they're all paying attention to all this stuff. You can't open your phone without seeing all this crap.
Right.
And so, like, he's only a human being, and he's got a steel trap mind, no doubt. He has a good hold on this stuff. But at the same time, he's a human, right?
Yep.
And so I would be concerned as his coach or as his mentor or whatever to keep him away from those expectations of media and fans who talk about this stuff for a living, and focus on the little stuff every day, trying to get a little better, and it'll all take care of itself.
Real quick, if I'm mistaken, we're getting paid by the hour here, but we only have 40 to 45 minutes to do a show.
Yeah.
We're at the 45-minute mark.
Yeah.
Should we screw over Blake and all of Guerrilla Sports and go an extra hour just to get an extra hour of pay? Or should we cut it off now and then do the show again on Thursday at 11?
Maybe let's do it on Thursday at 11, Eric. How about that?
Thursday at 11.
Yeah, let's do that.
That works for me.
All right.
Going deep with Jackson and Goodman.
Yep.
Show 2 is in the books.
In the books.
Show 3, you heard it right here.
Yeah.
Thursday at 11.
See you then.